Hey guys, EBPMAN here, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Melomania Touch. We're going to do several tests. We're going to do our audio tests so that you can hear how these sound. We're also going to do call quality tests, EBPMAN style, that are going to include now household sounds. So it's going to include anywhere from dogs barking, doorbells ringing, kids crying, all that stuff that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. We're also going to do a call quality using a mask, because a lot of you have been asking, since that's kind of the reality of nowadays, how do calls sound like when using a mask. So let's get right to it. Now, the Melomania Touch are really well spec'd. They're highly competitive with the earbuds that you find today in the market. As we take a look at here at the box really quick, you're going to get 9 hours of battery life per charge. You heard that right, 9 hours per charge, and you can use these independently. The other thing that you're going to get out of these is 50 hours total usage when you consider the entire package. So 9 hours individual use. When you put them in the case to charge, you'll get up to 50 hours more. Now, the Melomania Touch are really well suited from a spec perspective. You're talking about 9 hours of battery usage per charge on your earbuds. You can use these independently too, which is really great. The other thing that's really nice about these is that with the case, you're going to get a total of 50 hours of battery life. So again, 9 hours of use, which you can use them independently, 50 hours with the case, which means that these are really well spec'd. Now, the other thing is that these have a very mature app. And when we take a look at the app, you're going to be really impressed with all the configurability that you have. A lot of settings that you can personalize. They do feature transparency mode. The only thing that they don't have is noise canceling, and they don't have wireless charging, but everything else is spot on. Now, in the box, you're going to receive your Melomania Touch case with the earbuds. You'll have a USB-C charging case, a little instruction guide, multiple ear tips, right? So you have a wide variety of tips that you're going to be able to select from, and then you have these wings that are going to give you stability when you put them in your ear. Now, the case itself is relatively compact. I would say it's in line with a lot of the earbud cases that we're seeing in the market, although it does favor a little bit on the larger side. As we take a look at the case on the back, you do have your USB-C charging port, and you can see that right there. We'll go ahead and open this up. You'll see that in the front, you do have a fuel gauge. As soon as you take these out or opening them up, they are activated, right? And they are magnetically locked, so that when they go into your case, they're magnetically locked, and they're not going to fall out. Overall, when you take a look at these, you do have your contact points here, which are your charging points. And you can see, boy, they have a lot of contact points. You can see all those dots there that charge there. They are in your ear, but they don't go really deep in your ear. So we're going to go ahead and put this on, and we're going to put this one on, right? And as soon as you put them in your ear, you're going to get incredible, really, really good passive noise canceling. So you put these on. I may be speaking a little bit louder because they're doing such a good job of canceling everything out around me that's hard to hear myself. They fit really well. And one tip, when you're putting on earbuds of any type, make sure that you take a look at the gels. If you ever find that one falls out, just go to the next one. You can go large, you can go smaller. They don't have to be equal in size. So right now, this is what they look like. Let's turn to one side. Turn to the other side. And as you can see, they're relatively low profile, right? So they're not the kind that are going to stand out. And what I like about them is that the wings kind of lock in your ear really nicely. So take a look at that right there, right? They don't have physical buttons, so basically they're all tap, right? So you tap in order to get all the different gestures to work. So from a comfort perspective, they are very comfortable. The other thing I wanted to mention is that these have an IPX4 rating, which means you're going to be able to use them in the gym. You don't have any problems working out with these, so don't worry about that whatsoever. So all in all, great fit, fantastic seal, and then also, I would say, good comfort. Now, Cambridge Audio has one of the most mature apps on the market, in my opinion, when it comes to controlling and turning on all the features for the Melomania Touch. And as we take a look at what we see here, you'll notice that you have left and right indicators for each one of your earbuds. And like I said, you can use these independently. So you can take one out and just use it as one, use the other, and you can use these also for calls that way as well. You do have a single button here that you can turn on transparency mode. And once you turn on transparency mode, I'd say the transparency mode is not digital. At least to my ears, they're not sounding really digital. And I just turned them on. It's almost like, imagine if you were to pop your ears, right? If you hold your nose and you pop your ears, the experience goes from really not hearing much at all, and then as soon as you turn on transparency mode, all of a sudden there's some clarity that comes through. So it does a really nice job when it comes to transparency mode, and you can see that you have various degrees of transparency mode, and I like the visuals here. Notice how the visuals kind of go through kind of like that sizing, which is really cool. So I think that that's a pretty neat feature there. Now we're going to go back. I'm going to leave it on transparency mode. And what you do have is a Find My Earbud, right? So it recognizes your last location. you do have here some equalizers, and the equalizer works really well. And all the audio tests that you're going to hear on the channel include the bass boost, because my preference is to have mids and highs present, but I like a little punch in the bass. So, but you can change it. So as you change it, you'll notice that how it just changes the equalizer. And I really appreciate that you have kind of like that. And it does something really nice here. I like the fact that it kind of shows you based on this chart, what is the bass, what is the mid-range, and what is the treble. A lot of folks don't know the differences. So what you can do is literally you can personalize it to your own settings as well, which is pretty neat. Now from a settings perspective, you also then have controls, right? So if I go into this area right here, you can turn on and off all of these settings. And look at all this configurability. So it does work with the assistants. You can turn on transparency mode. You can really personalize the earbuds to only function for the things that you find are important to you. All right, so let's go into now this more area. And then the other thing that you can do here is obviously, update the firmware if that's something that you need to do. Now, in addition to turning on and off certain controls, you can go and enable different codecs, right? So you can determine if you want to have aptX on, if you want AAC on. You can actually have them both on at the same time and apply those changes. Now, one other setting that you may want to consider is the audio mode. And in audio mode, you can choose either high performance or low power, and that's going to allow you to get the best audio experience, but it does cut into your battery life. I personally, because these charge so quickly and they have such great battery life, I personally have the high performance mode on. Now, the other choices that you do have is to change the actual language that the guidance is going to be in, and you can see that you have a wide variety of languages that you can choose from. Next, we're going to do our call quality test, so make sure you have some headphones or earbuds on so you can hear exactly what we hear. Now, next we're going to do the call quality test of the Melomania Touch in a quiet environment. As we take a look at our decibel readings, anywhere from between 22 to 24 decibels in noise. Let's go to switch. Now, this is what the call quality will sound like when making a phone call on the Melomania Touch in a quiet environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is a test. Next, let's add some wind to this environment. Now, this is what the Melomania Touch sound like with wind in a quiet environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is a test. This is what the Melomania Touch sound like with wind in a quiet environment. Next, we're going to go into a noisy environment. Now, this is what the Melomania ones will sound like if you're having a conversation with a mask on. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is a test. Now this call is a much noisier environment. As you can look at our decibel readings, anywhere from 38 all the way up to 78 decibels of noise. What we're going to do is we're going to switch to the Melomania Touch, stay quiet to see how much noise is being canceled, and then we'll continue with the audio call. Switch. Now, this is what the call quality would sound like making a phone call in a noisy environment with the Melomania Touch. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is a test. This is what the Melomania Touch sound like in a noisy environment. Now, let's go into household noises. Now we're doing our call quality test, this time with an infant crying in the background. This is what the Melomania Touch would sound like with an infant crying in the background. Now we have a dog barking in the background, and this is what the call quality would sound like with the Melomania Touch with a dog barking in the background. This is a test with the Melomania Touch with the dog in the background. Now next we're doing a Melomania test, but this time with the doorbell ringing in the background. So this is what they sound like if the door were to ring in the background. Now next we're going to do our audio test, so make sure you have some headphones or earbuds on. So guys, that wraps up our review of the Melomania Touch. See you in the next one.